Hello and welcome back to another Unreal Engine tutorial. In this episode, we're going to be looking at creating a camera that allows us to make easy thumbnails for YouTube. So for example, here we have these sliders here. If I press P, it's going to go ahead and take a screenshot for me. You'll see that on the bottom right there. However, we have a field of view slider. We have a slider allowing the change of if it's 4K or not. We have a speed slider, so how quick our camera can move. And then we also have a lighting selection, so I can choose if I want no lighting, one overhead light, or I want a 3-point lighting. Just makes things extremely easy. Now we can have a green screen here, or you can implement this character in your own scene and everything will carry over. It just makes it really easy. But in this first video, we're gonna be taking a look at setting this camera up. Then after that, we will look at setting the UI up. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and just give some tips and tricks. So let's get into it. Once we are in, let's go ahead and go to our content drawer here. Go ahead and right click and click on level and just name it level underscore, let's just do empty. Oop, misspelled that, but it's okay. Just make sure you spell it correctly. Double click on it, save this map. Then we'll go ahead here and let's go to our project settings under edit here. Now let's do maps and modes and we'll change both of the default to empty here. Once you've done that, go ahead and close it. It's just some basic setting up here. We're going to start in this scene always. Then we're going to go ahead down here and we're going to create two things. First of all, we're going to right click. We're going to go to material. We're going to do M underscore green. And we're also going to right click, blueprint class, actor, BP underscore green screen. This is just a setup for those who want to be able to clip out their character rather than, having a background they have to cut themselves out of manually. That just helps a lot. There will be a little bit of bleeding. However, Photoshop can fix that within 5 seconds. It auto detects really well when you use the green screen in this. So let's go ahead and set that up. Double click on your M underscore green here. Now, under the left side here, let's go ahead and change the material domain here. Actually, no, let's keep it as surface. The blend mode from opaque, we need to make it to translucent. Shading model, we're going to change it to unlit. And after this, the way we plug in the color will be this emissive color here. So hold down the 3 key and left click, and that will get you a color wheel. Now, if we drag this white into the white here and double click, we're just going to set the value to the green to 1. Go ahead and hit OK. Looks like I accidentally put it into opacity. I meant to put it into emissive, but it goes into emissive like that. Hit apply, and it should be a solid green color that does not bleed, does not reflect, nothing like that. So we can close that out. Open up your green screen here. Now we're going to go ahead and add at the top here, we're going to add a plane. I would turn on the lock scale here and set everything to about 4. Then I would unlock it and set the X to something like 6. Then under element, under materials here, of course, we're choosing green. Let's go ahead and search and do cast and uncheck cast shadow here. Then after that, we're just going to do Control C, Control V, and paste it. Rotate the plane 90 degrees, and then just basically make a basic green screen setup. Here we go. Compile and save, and that's actually it for the green screen. So let's close it. We can actually go ahead and drag it into our scene here. I'm going to reset the location here by hitting this arrow. Now after that, we need to go ahead and go to the content drawer here, and let's go ahead here and right click and let's go to blueprint class, go to all classes, and we're going to search for spectator pawn right here. I'll do BP underscore flying camera. Right click. Let's go ahead to blueprint class and do player controller. Let's do BP underscore flying camera controller. We're going to make one more. Right click, blueprint class. Game mode base. Let's do game mode underscore flying camera. Go ahead and double click on our game mode here. Now within our game mode, we're going to change our default pawn class. We're going to change that to the flying camera. Let's find player controller class. Let's change it to flying camera controller here. And let's just check over, make sure we don't need to change anything else. I think we should be fine. Compile and save, and we never need to touch that thing again. So over here on the right, world settings, we're gonna click on that. If you don't have world settings, I believe you can click on the settings here at the top right, and you can click on world settings and it'll bring you there instead. So now we're in world settings, game mode override, we're immediately changing that to our game mode flying camera. So go ahead and save that. And when we hit play, you should be a flying camera. Yep, and on the right we can see it's possessing it. So that should be working, and it looks like our green, I'm trying to hope it's not bleeding. I think we might need to change that if it is, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I think it just appears as glowing. Actually, no, I know exactly the reason for that. We can fix it right now. It's a really annoying setting I've hated Unreal Engine always having on by default. So edit project settings, and then we're gonna look for exposure. And we find this damn auto exposure. Turn it off. Worst setting in the entire engine to be on by default. It is the absolute worst. So just make sure that auto exposure is off. We could actually probably darken this green here. I think it's gonna be a little screwy if we don't. So let's try that. Let's see how dark we can make it with it looking okay. Let's see, because I want it to be more matte too. I don't want it super glowy. That works. Okay, so it looks like I have it about right here. This value. Save. Yes. Okay. I feel like when the green is too light, it doesn't pick it up properly. So now that we have all that set up, let's double click and open our flying camera right here. We're going to do two things. We're going to open our full blueprint here. Now we're going to add here, and let's go ahead and add a camera right there. Make sure with this camera selected, let's go to our viewport. The camera selected, let's make sure to search use pawn, control rotation. There we go. And then on top of that, we also need to add the floating pawn movement. There we go, perfect. Now what we need to do, I'm trying to say now what we need to do less, because every video I say it probably about 30 times. Now, go ahead and delete all of this here. Right click here and do P key. Now we can do enhanced input actions. I have just had a world of trouble with them, so I tend to lean away from using them. So I'm trying to find the P key. There we go, just P. With the P key pressed, we're actually gonna go ahead and create a new variable. So let's go ahead and click the plus here. And let's name this new variable screenshot number. Change its type here to an integer. And compile and save, and just make sure that screenshot number is 0. Do not change it. Drag it in here and do get. Now we're going to go ahead and add. We're going to add a value of 1. Drag up here, or actually we can drag this in again and do set after pressed here. After this, we're going to go ahead and drag off, and we're going to say print text. We're going to give this thing a lot of room here. And in this text, we're going to drag off, and we're going to say format. Type, good Lord. All right. Now in this format text, a little thing I love here is that if you type these two brackets with space in between, that means it creates a new node for you to use. So here we're going to do those two, and then we're going to say taken with an exclamation point. Now after that, it creates a new node. Now off for this node, we're actually going to say format text again. And then we're going to type here. We're going to do, after dragging and making some space, we're going to say screenshot. And then do the brackets again. We're going to plug this value here into the bottom. Then we're going to go ahead and create a branch by holding B. We're going to put it after the print text here. Create a new variable here. We're going to go ahead and name it 4K and add a question mark. This is going to be of type Boolean. Plug it into that. Then we're going to go ahead and grab a take high resolution screenshot. We're going to do it for false. We're also going to copy and paste and do it for true. And then for the file name, we're going to go ahead and take this right here where it says screenshot with the brackets, and plug the result into file name for each. Then what we're going to do is at the bottom here, 1920 by 1080, the basic aspect ratio. Here we're going to do the 4K, so we're going to do 7680 by 4320. Now go ahead and compile and save that and close it. And now by pressing play, if we fly around and press P, you'll see screenshot 1 taken. And if you actually open your folder here, you will see screenshot 1 with the resolution you have chosen. However, we actually can't choose the resolution yet. We need to set that in our UI. So make sure your game is unpaused. It's going to be very, very normal to leave your game running now because it'll look like it's running because it's using the same camera. Find some space here, right click. We're going to go ahead and make a user interface, widget blueprint, user widget, WB_UI. Going back into our flying camera here, and go ahead and type event begin play. Off of this, we're going to drag into create widget. We're going to select our UI. Off of return, do add to viewport. And that's it. So compile and save. And let's actually move this and save it. We might need it later. Now after that, we're going to go ahead and open our WB UI. Drag in a canvas panel. We're going to type again, and we're going to do a vertical box. And then we're also going to add a border. Go ahead and drag the vertical box onto the border here. Let's make this border size. So for border, anchor it to the top left here. Go ahead and just make it a certain size that we want. All right. After that, this is where we're going to choose the color for it. I've always done orange, kind of a slightly transparent orange for anything that's related to like UI editing. So under brush color here, double click on it. I'm going to choose orange. So let's go for something like, that's perfect right there. And I'm going to change the alpha to something like 0.65. Yeah, that works perfectly. Now after that, we're going to go ahead and type, and we're going to grab a horizontal box. Drag it on to the vertical box. There we go. We're going to grab some text. Drag the text in the horizontal box here. And then here with the text, we're going to set it to fill and center it on both ways. And then we can go ahead and change the text here. Let's change the size as well. Let's do something like, it's like 18. 18 seems right. And then color and opacity, let's also change the opacity down in the alpha. Something like that, 0.5. There we go. So now we got our text block here. Let's go ahead and name it. Let's name it 4K and then do a question mark. And we're also going to grab a check box here. We're going to also drag it into the horizontal box here. Oops. Horizontal box, not vertical. There we go. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay, fill also. Center align it. And then let's go ahead here and change the padding. So we should do like, we can leave it like that. It's more just, if you want any more room, you can change the padding. So on the 4K here, if you want more padding, you can change the right padding to something like 20. Oops, my bad. You can change the left padding to something like 20, and it'll push it more to the right, which is kind of what I want. So I'm going to change it to something like, let's do 20. 20 works. So 4K here, let's leave this here, leave it unchecked. We need to make sure it's a variable though. So as a variable, we need to go ahead and click here, the on-check status changed. We're going to click that. And then here, on-check status changed, we need to go ahead and add a branch, which you can hold B to do under is checked. Now we need to be able to grab the character, and I found using a flying camera, it has a really hard time casting to it. So we actually need to set it on constructing. So go back to our flying camera. Now we need a node to pop up here allowing us, because owning player, it does let you grab owning player, but not in the way we are wanting. So here back into our UI, we need to go ahead and add a variable here, and we need to name it character. And we're going to change this, and we're going to name it the BP underscore flying camera, a object reference. We're going to set this to instance editable and expose on spawn. Compile and save and go back to flying camera. And if you right click on this node here and you do refresh, should be right here, we should get character. So now if we drag out and we do self, get a reference to self, we can put it on the bottom here, compile and save. And now that's actually our character completely working, because what we're doing is we're basically grabbing the character that is using this widget, but there's only one that will ever be using this widget. So it kind of makes it, you don't have to cast, it's a direct link. So here back in the UI here, we're actually going to grab our character. And then we're going to do set 4K question mark under true. And then under false here, put the same in for the target. So of course, if it is checked, then it will be 4K. If it's not checked, it is not. So compile and save here. Now if we play the game, let's go ahead and pick an angle here. Oh, one more thing we got to do. Hey, go ahead under event begin play here and make some room. And we're going to get our get player controller. Off of that, we're going to do set show mouse. There we go. Set show mouse cursor. Make sure that's true. Kind of forgot you need your mouse to click on things, but that should be fine now. So compile and save. And now if we play it, we should be able to free float around. And we have a little box here that says 4K that we can check and uncheck. If we check that 4K here, we can go ahead and press P. Should take quite a bit longer to actually do it because it's registering in 4K. And now if we open it and look at the aspect ratio, yep, it is in 4K there. So we are fine on that end. That is working. Another thing I'd like to add back in our UI here, if we go back to our designer, let's go ahead and add, let's copy and paste this horizontal box here. So we have another, and just drag it into the vertical box. In this top horizontal box here, let's just delete the checkbox. I just want to make sure that checkbox is the right one here. So let's go back to graph. Checkbox. No. Okay. If you accidentally delete the other checkbox, that's fine. You can just click on the new one and go back and hit on state changed and then just drag in the exact same thing. Ideally, you don't delete the one like I did like an idiot. But back in our designer here, let's go ahead and change this here, reset the padding, and let's just type here under text. Let's do capital P and then do dash and then a space and say take screenshot. So just kind of a reminder of the keybind of how to do it. Then after that, let's just take our border here and drag it up so it looks a little bit neater. And let's actually get some more room for the border down here, because the issue is that it will say screenshot on the top, but we won't be able to see it with that in the way. So if we compile and save and press play now, everything should be looking okay. You can check and uncheck. Last thing we're going to worry about this video is going ahead and making a character that we can spawn and set animations for. So let's go ahead and close this. Go back to our empty level here, and if we open our content drawer here at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and right click and create a blueprint class. We are going to make it a character. We're going to do BP underscore poser. Double click on that. If we click on the mesh here and then click on the bottom right, we're going to go ahead and choose SKM Manny. Since that is a skeletal mesh asset, I couldn't say that about 30 times in a row, that we're going to be using for this, but you can easily change it. So let's do that. And we need to drag his feet to the bottom here, so about -90. We need to rotate him over this way. Now by default, we're not going to use an animation blueprint. We're going to use an animation asset. We're going to uncheck looping and playing. And that's really all we need to do for the character here. So if you compile and save and go to level empty, drag him in on top of this green screen here. rotate him this way. And then after that, let's just add some simple lights. So let's grab over here. Let's add some point lights, so like one right here. Compile and, or not compile and save, copy and paste. I say that so much that's burned into my brain. There we go. And then we have some simple lights down. So now if you press play, you can fly right up to him, take a nice angle. So let's say like right here, press P, it'll take a screenshot of him. You can open it right here. Boom. You got that screenshot ready for you for editing, but the last thing I'm going to show you for this episode is I'm going to go ahead and show you how we're going to pose him. So you can find poses in many different ways. My favorite is actually to go into the Fab Marketplace. If you go in the Fab Marketplace, there are a lot of free animation poses, but you can also find some off of Mixamo. I will attach, if you're not familiar with Mixamo, I'll show you really quick. Mixamo is basically a site from Adobe which allows you to choose your own animations to import. So right now, if I choose like, I don't know, angry, we can find like angry point. We can find an angry gesture. Just all kinds of different things that we can actually use for free in our project. Now, it is kind of complicated how you import them to your game. And like I said, I'm going to attach my favorite video for importing in there that you can watch. And it'll tell you how to import to your game as an animation asset. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and import animations of my own that I'm going to use, and I can just show you how to implement them correctly. The one I'm going to be using here is one I already own. I believe it was from a free event. Since every month Fab drops about 2 or 3 that you can use for free. Not nearly as good as it used to be with before Fab existed, but still good that they're giving it away for free. But I have this pack here, which gives you just hundreds of different poses, which are great for thumbnails. You can find a lot of them here, like a thumbs down, you can find a thumbs up, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead into my library here and I'll show you. I'm just going to add it to my project here. If it does this, you can do show all projects and then click on the one you're trying to do. So in my case, for this I'm doing viewer. You will have it named something different, but select version, just do the most recent and then do add to project. And once you add it, it'll be here in your content drawer. So for me, I'm going to go to pose animations. I'm just going to type something like thumbs down. Let's find one right here, thumbs down. If you actually click and drag it onto your character, they'll go ahead and inherit it. So what you can do is you can click on your character. In the details panel, you can actually go down here to initial position and just change it until you find something that you like. So about here for me, we go ahead and click play, find what angle you want. He's a little bit deformed, but that's because it's an Unreal Engine 4 mannequin posing onto an Unreal Engine 5 mannequin, but that can also be retargeted for a future video. But you just do this, hit P, save it, import it into your editor like Photoshop, add the green screen filter, it'll clear to the background. You can see there's no staining of any type of green on him. And then after that, you can go ahead and edit it. So that will be it for this video. Just basically setting up the basics for future videos. So the next video will cover probably the rest of it, where I'm going to showing you how to do a field of view sliders. I'm going to be showing you how to do just many things, different tools on the left here you can use to make it easier. And on top of that, I'll do the auto rigging lighting that you can add to your posing character. Things like that just make life so much easier when you make YouTube videos. But that's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching.